Merrimack TV content may no longer be available on YouTube. To continue watching our programs, please download the Merrimack TV app from your device's app store. Programs may also be available at merrimacktv.com.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the June 2nd, 2025 Merrimack School District School Board meeting. Will everyone rise with me to say the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, everyone. It's so great to see so many students and our representatives here tonight. I'd like to take just a moment to read our Merrimack School District mission statement. The Merrimack School District will provide a high-quality, future-driven education to all students in the community. Students will engage in learning opportunities that reflect both rigor and relevance and meet their cognitive, social, and emotional needs. The district will prepare students to understand, adapt to, and adjust to the changing world, including civic, economic, social, and technological developments. Our overall goal is to inspire, create, and encourage students to be curious, connected, prepared, resilient, and dedicated individuals who are lifelong expert learners. Merrimack graduates exercise judgment, they are innovative, and will become responsible contributors to society. We hope all of our discussions tonight reflect that, and all of our students that are here tonight are great examples of that mission statement. So now we are going to recognize our amazing students.
And we will have you, as we call your name, come up in front here so you can have some pictures taken. But tonight, we have some outstanding students and outstanding staff who always make us proud in the school district. And tonight is one of those great events where we are able to recognize not only athletes, but also some superb students who have once again distinguished themselves in Merrimack with their victory in the Granite State Challenge. We have several other awards that we'll be giving out, and so we will go up to the front and we'll call your name, and please know how very proud we are of you. This is a school district that is always having the best interests of students in mind, and you have performed exceedingly well, and we're going to recognize you tonight. So.
Boys Ice Hockey Team, Tyler Allen. Blake Folio. James Brew. Mason Crows. Chase Dewey. Will Farrell. Colin Hamlin. Josh Kahn. Keone Monti. Felix Raton. Johnny Turner. Ryan Warrington. And Jackson Woods.
So just for people at home that might not know what they are being acknowledged for, Mr. Olson, somebody have a certificate there?
They were the runners-up, the state runners-up And I was fortunate enough, because my son actually played hockey, I went to a few of their games, and I was super impressed by their sportsmanship, and their level of play was just amazing. It was just so heartwarming as an old Merrimack mom to see such talented kids on the Merrimack ice.
Can I ask you how your experience was on the tryout team, multiple districts?
I mean, it was
That worked out well?
We came together and made it work, so it's all that matters.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sign of real sportsmanship. We didn't have enough, in order to several other school districts have enough players for their own high school team. So we formed a team with participants, students from 3 school districts, and it worked out extremely well. Congratulations to all of you. You are the essence of team sportsmanship. And you guys have done a fabulous job. Congratulations. Good job. Thank you.
All right, next up is the bowling team. We're going to start by saying what the bowling team, what was the success that we're celebrating tonight? We're going to say that before we call the kids up. State runner-up. Okay. Co-ed bowling team. That is Hannah Bovair, James Fulton, Kobe Kugler, Ethan Melanson, Braden, Missouri, Jake Rome, and Christiana Smart.
Good job. Can you tell me what your average was as a team?
We don't really have a team average. We go off of our own chart. Mine is around 155. Yes.
Around 100. 178.
Wow. Great job.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you. Pictures?
Thank you.
Next for individual gymnastics, we have Mia LeBlanc. Bill or Lori, could you share what her accomplishment was in?
Well, I could, but you know what? I'd love to have Mia, because Mia has been a rock star. I said Mia has been a rock star in gymnastics. So, if you want to tell everybody what the award is for.
I placed second in the state all around and placed on every single event this year. And I won most of my meets this year.
Tell us what events you were involved in.
I do all the events. I do bars, beam, floor, and vault.
That's
So, yeah.
I'm very proud of you. I've heard your name many times when it comes to gymnastics, and keep going in the future. We hope you'll be participating in gymnastics in college, and we look forward to seeing you in the Olympics. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have the Granite State Challenge, and we are celebrating their accomplishments as they work together to secure not only the 5th championship for Merrimack, but it was 3 consecutive wins. So that has never been done before. Congratulations to all of you guys. And we'd like to recognize you by having you come up. So first we have Bridget Clark, Avis Clever, Maeve LaRock, Liam McIsaac, Hakari McDowell, Lauren Murby, Aaron Murray, the assistant coach Elizabeth Dumay, and coach Dr. Sarah Campbell.
That's going to make for nice pictures. That's amazing.
When have you ever seen more hardware?
That's some hardware right there.
You know, I don't want to make the other team feel bad, but you trounced the competition, and you did just such an outstanding job. Sarah, can I ask you and Liz, what is your winning secret, in addition to brilliant young adults?
Hard work.
Hard work will always do it. So congratulations to you. We are exceptionally proud of you. I've never seen more trophies in one setting in all my life. So congratulations to all of you.
Stay here a second.
Yep.
Stay here. Stay here so the microphone is
Sure.
Also, I would like to invite up to the front State Senator Tim Magoo to tell us what he did on the Senate floor for our Granite State team. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate that. Can we have the whole Merrimack delegation come on up? This was really a joint effort. We had the whole general court involved, so we've got a great legislative group here. Representative Rung, Representative Miles, Representative Murphy, Representative Thomas, Representative Boyd, Dr. Campbell, Ms. Dumay. Where's everybody? There you are, over there. We had so much fun up at the State House. These guys, we love the fourth graders. We really do. And they ask us some tough questions. But the brain power back here, not only do they answer questions, but they can ask some good questions too. So I brought the large print version of the proclamation and the slightly longer version of the proclamation that we delivered on the Senate floor. These guys were able to come up and spend the day. They started in the House. They had a nice tour. They went to the Senate, came to my office. We all jammed inside a rather small office. And also, before I forget, anybody is invited to come up and do the exact same thing. The representatives will host you on the floor of the House, well, maybe in the gallery of the House. I'll do my best to get you on the floor of the Senate. We have a few Senate sessions still left, and of course the next year. But you're always welcome to come up and have a tour. We'll set you up and come up and visit, have coffee, chit-chat, and get the royal tour, just like these guys did. So here is the first of two proclamations. I will give you a little the abbreviated version. So on behalf of the state of New Hampshire and the state Senate, congratulating the Merrimack High School Tomahawks on their third consecutive Granite State Challenge championship victory. Whereas the Merrimack High School Granite State Challenge academic team comprised of Aaron Murray, the team captain, Liam McIsaac, Maeve LaRock, Avis Cleaver, Hikari McDowell, Bridget Clark, and Lauren Murby represented their school and community with distinction, teamwork, and academic excellence. And whereas the team was guided by their dedicated coaches, chemistry teacher Dr. Sarah Campbell, physics teacher Liz Dumay, who we will miss very much, whose leadership, instruction, and encouragement played a vital role in their success. I'm going to skip down just a little bit because I will be here for a long time, and we have one more to go. Whereas the Merrimack High now holds the record for the most Granite State Challenge championships, 2020, 21, 23, 24, and 25, bringing well-deserved recognition and pride to their school, their families, and the town of Merrimack. Now, therefore, be it known that I, Senator Tim McGue, on behalf of the New Hampshire Senate, do hereby extend heartfelt congratulations to the Merrimack High School Tomahawks for their extraordinary accomplishment and commend their lasting legacy of academic achievement. Hearty congratulations to all of you. Thank you again for coming to visit. And I'm going to pass it on, so hold your applause just a second. I'm going to pass it on to Representative Miles and the rest of the legislative delegation. I'm going to present this to, nobody has a free hand. There's so many trophies here. You've cleaned out the case. Wow. But I will pass the microphone on.
This might sound a little similar, but this is on behalf of the House and our Speaker of the House, Sherman Packard, a declaration. It says, in recognition of Merrimack High School Tomahawks, whereas the Merrimack High School Tomahawks, led by team captain Aaron Murray and joined by teammates Liam Mackles, Meve LaRock, Avis Clever, Hikari McDowell, Bridget Clark, and Lauren Murby have achieved an extraordinary milestone by winning their third consecutive Granite State Challenge Championship in 2025 with a decisive 570 to 310 victory over Tilton School. And whereas Merrimack High School now holds a historic 5 total titles, 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024, 2025, and whereas the team was coached with exceptional commitment and wisdom by Dr. Sarah Campbell, and chemistry teacher, and Liz Dumais, physics teacher, whose mentorship has inspired a culture of academic competition and camaraderie. And, would you like to finish the rest? Sure. Okay. Whereas, during the high-stakes final toss-up round, the Tomahawks displayed fearless precision with rapid-fire correct answers that sealed the team's lead and left no doubt as to their dominance. And declared, the New Hampshire House of Representatives hereby extends its highest congratulations for the Tomahawks' outstanding accomplishment and display of their combined intellect and reflexes, as well as their sportsmanship and unwavering support for each other. And declared by virtue of his signature described below, the New Hampshire House of Representatives does also recognize the educators, families, and mentors who supported their journey. Dated this day, 19th of May, 2025. Very good job.
And it's been mentioned already, we have Dr. Sarah Campbell and Liz Dumais to thank for their diligence and their encouragement and how they have motivated and mentored these students, and so we want to recognize them as well.
I'd just like to say congratulations to all of you. You make us so proud. We're often in Representatives Hall up there talking about our Merrimack students, and you guys are phenomenal. I also want to say to the public school, public education is so important. These guys make us proud. We need to do everything in the House and in the Senate to make sure that we adequately fund our public schools so these guys can keep doing what they're doing, our teachers can keep doing what they're doing, and thank you all. Congratulations.
Ditto everything Representative Murphy said. Congratulations.
Oh, I don't have much to add except that my son Logan, many years ago, and he talks about you all the time still, was on this team. And it's a phenomenal team, what you got. And your accomplishment is phenomenal. Just well done. Well done, all.
I echo all my colleagues' comments that they have to say. Amazing work that you've done. I'm going to roll the dice. 4-peat. 4-peat. We want a 4-peat in this community. So, but in all seriousness, congratulations, everybody. Honestly, you've earned this victory lap, and you bring a lot of Tomahawk pride to the town of Merrimack. And I think the community is very grateful for your accomplishments and your hard work and intellect. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations again.
Yeah. So next up is our Outstanding Band Director of the Year. And we know that our former board member, Ken Martin, said when he was trying to decide on what town to live in, he wanted a town that had the best music program in the state, and he chose Merrimack. And that comes down to a lot of our leadership, and so we'd like to honor Holly Levine as the Outstanding Band Director of the Year.
And our final recognition tonight is for our student representative, Finn Haddad. Finn, you have been an integral part of this year's board. You have brought a very unique perspective, and you have been a very strong voice for the students at Merrimack High School. You have come with data, you have come with qualitative analysis, and you've come with passion to help your school and your students. We will miss you next year on the board, but we want to recognize you tonight and thank you for all the work you've done being an amazing student representative on the Merrimack School Board. Don't go to that. I want you to share what your plans are.
Oh. I have to talk about what I'm doing.
He's settling in.
Well, you've heard this, right? We had a long discussion. Leaving my education at Merrimack High School is something that's going to be a little bit difficult. It's a huge life transition, and I've been supported by so many wonderful staff members, 2 of them sitting right over there. I actually have my proud chemist hat on that Dr. Campbell gave me today. And so transitioning into a space without that support is something that I always thought was going to be incredibly scary. And so next year I'm going to take some time, figure out what I'm going to do, and then I have a spot in the electrical engineering major at UNH in 2026. So.
And Finn, I think that shows a depth of wisdom on your part that a lot of young people don't have. And I want to congratulate you on your thought process and what you have decided, and congratulations for your future at UNH.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so, Finn, we have just had the best time with you, and we all appreciate your critical thinking, your courage to come forward and sometimes bring forward things that maybe people might not think are a popular thought. And you just have so much courage, and you have a great personality. You're very intelligent, and we really think this shines brightly on Merrimack High School. All of this shines very, very bright. Merrimack High School has a lot of really good things going on, and so we deeply appreciate you. We have some advice for you.
Oh,
Not that
I
you ever
appreciate
took our
that.
Advice, but
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to join on the Finn parade here. I've known Finn since he and my son were in 2nd grade together. I think 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Finn, you are missing out. He is a treat, a real treat. And my favorite memory, though, it's a competition, but recently he was like, "Can we go out and grab coffee?" He's like, we wanted to talk about some board stuff. And I said, "Well, sure, but I don't drink coffee." And he said, "Okay, well, what can we do?" I go, "Well, I gotta walk the dogs." So Finn and I spent a morning walking my dogs, which was one of the best mornings I've had in the last couple of months, as you can imagine. But honest to goodness, if you've never had an opportunity to have a conversation with Finn, you need to, because he is the deepest, one of the deepest 18-year-olds I've, 18.
Yeah, you got it.
You will ever meet. And my favorite thing about you, Finn, is that you interact with the world as if you were a full-on human. You don't think anything less of the fact that, like some people would say, like, "Oh, I'm just a kid," like, "Well, I'm just a kid." Nope. Finn's like, he just interacts with the world like it was meant to be here, and it is my favorite thing about you, and more people should be like that.
I appreciate the sentiments of everybody on the board, and I would agree. I think for a long time it has been a strategy that
there is no reason to waste time on Earth, right? We have limited time as it is, so I am here to get things done. And I have been consistently surprised with how well everybody on this board and how much they've considered the things that I've had to say. And so that's something that's been, that I've appreciated quite a bit. I never feel like I'm wasting my time up here. So, and I owe that to you all.
So, as much as I know you all are just dying to stay for our whole school board meeting, I am going to give just a minute or two for those who would like to depart to do so before we move on with the rest of our meeting. All right, well, we will move to the part of our regular board meeting where we cover informational updates, and I will give it over to Bill for the superintendent update.
All right, thank you, Lori.
Sorry, you're right. I was so excited about the recognitions we had tonight, I forgot public participation. So I'm going to open up the floor for public participation. I will confess that's twice because we've had such amazing recognitions that it just seemed like the most important thing we needed to do. All right, informational updates, superintendent.
Thank you. I want to thank once again the Rotary Club for honoring the top 10 graduates at a wonderful dinner that is held annually. It was last Friday night, and it is just such an enjoyable event. And we heard from the top 10 scholars in terms of what their plans are for next year. And it is always an enjoyable event that makes us very proud to see the just outstanding academic accomplishments. And you know, not this year, but in prior years, oftentimes the top 10 scholars were asked to name a favorite teacher or two, which can be a little bit dangerous at times, but I have to tell you that Sarah Campbell's name, Dr. Sarah Campbell, her name has come up more times than you could ever imagine. And what she has meant to students, you know, you remember those, we all remember those favorite teachers in life who inspired us, motivated us, encouraged us, connected with us, cared about us, believed in us, but also, even more importantly, helped us believe in ourselves. And Sarah, and we have other Sarahs at the high school also, and throughout our entire school district. So for all those staff members who've made such a wonderful difference every single year, thank you from all of us, because you've done an incredible job shaping the future of students more than you will ever know. All right, so we are through with no public input. So that's the Rotary dinner. I want to mention also that the high school held last week a great 8th grade transition night. It was well attended. Students took the 8th graders on tours of the building, along with a number of tables in the high school with clubs and athletic activities for students to become interested in. So we thank the high school, the students and the staff, and also the middle school for that wonderful night. Heard from Nikki Rowe, at JMU about a wonderful Project Safeguard event that took place on May 30th, involving the police department, fire department, and a guest speaker who had been injured in a war. It was very, very meaningful. One of the staff members conveyed to me how meaningful that talk about the veteran who was injured with burns from an explosion, and how much that impacted both students and staff. It was an incredible, incredible event. Talking about recognitions, I received this from Adam French, the athletic director. This is how our teams have advanced over the last X number of years. Boys tennis team was the number 11 seed and made the state tournament for only the second time in the last 30 years. Girls tennis team, number 5 seed, finished the season 9-5 and made the postseason for the second time in the past 30 years. The softball team was the number 5 seed, finished with a 13-5 record, and will host Spalding this week in the first round of the state tournament at Legion Field, which is the field that Matt was very instrumental, and Tom Tussaud, in working with the Legion organization. It is an outstanding field, a first-class field that our students are now able to play on. Boys lacrosse team was number 5 seed and finished the season 11-6 and has made the quarterfinals in the state tournament. The girls lacrosse team is number 2 seed with a 13-1 record and earned the first round bye, and will host Hollis Brookline at 5 p.m. this Wednesday. And something that is very, very special, the Special Olympics Unified Champion School. Merrimack High School has been recognized as a 2024-2025 Granite State Unified Champion School for the work of our Best Buddies program, Unified Athletics coaches and student athletes and partner athletes. And it just simply does not get any more meaningful than that. So congratulations to our students, to our staff. Wonderful things continue to happen, and they continue to make us proud. And that is it.
And we want to welcome back Amy Doyle tonight. We have missed having you at our board meetings.
I've missed being here. I was watching from home. That's how you spend your Monday evening. So I just want to start by thanking you for excusing me these last couple of meetings. I'm on the road to recovery. I don't have an air cast anymore. I don't have to be driven everywhere, which was really humbling to be in the car with my UNH freshmen everywhere I had to go. Can you take me X, Y, and Z? It was wonderful, but thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. Summer programming is coming together for the district. Extended school year, of course, will be happening through our Department of Student Services, and then our summer learning programs at the elementary and middle level. We've got our 8.5 program happening at Merrimack High School, credit recovery, and then we have some transition support for students that's provided by our school counselors at every level. New Hampshire SAS results are rolling in to the family portal. I know that some families like to log in and look at their student score. Those are available on demand. If you need help doing that, there are some directions on our webpage about how to get your unique code. And if you need help, Adam Goodman, who is the keeper of all wonderful technology things, he can help you find lots of not just your scores, but your code if you need it. I don't know, I don't want to steal Bill's thunder. Did you talk about the last day of school?
No.
Okay.
I thought I'd say
that was awfully nice of you. So June 18th, last day of school for students, not for Finn. Finn's last day of school is Friday.
Yeah? Wow.
Oh, yeah, just ruined your whole night, Finn, right? Okay. You got a chemistry hat, and now you're telling your last day of school. But June 18th is half day for students, and then staff will be here on the 19th and 20th. We have PD at the district level on the 19th and at the building level on the 20th. So June is a busy month. I just always feel like there's so much to celebrate. You're getting certificates and lunches and dinners and cakes and lots of desserts. So I hope everyone enjoys all of that. So thanks. That's all I have for tonight.
May I just say also, thank you to Amy for an extraordinarily detailed 2 days of professional development, characteristic of what she has done always here. Everybody knows what they're doing, when they're doing it, where they're doing it, and how they're doing it. So thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Assistant Superintendent Business, Matt Chevenel.
Thank you. Pretty soon I'll have to be in contact with Michael Burke of the American Legion. It's a couple of tweaks to the MOU that we signed that I want to discuss with them and just kind of iron them out. There's nothing major, but I just want to make you aware. Years ago, during the summertime, everybody went home. There was no summer school. There was nothing. It was like everyone went home, and we could clean the buildings. Now it's kind of like Tom and I are trying to play checkers and chess to figure out which room we can clean at what point in time because of the utilization. So those of you who think these buildings are just school year only buildings, these are all year round buildings. The whole dynamic has changed over 20 years. These are assets that we have that are used continuously. On the weekends, you will see cars here. During the summertime, you'll see cars here. All the time, every week, every day, pretty much. So you're definitely getting your money out of investing in them, because we've got a new roof going on at JMU's and MES. That's going to be happening shortly once those people leave. And then we finally have the windows at JMU's that we took 2 years to finally get into stock. Those are going up this summer too, very shortly. So it's going to be a busy summer. We've got a lot of projects going. There's still projects left in our operating budget after the operating budget did fail that we will be working towards and getting done as quickly as possible to make the beginning of the school year. I'm already into the beginning of the school year next year, right? I'm already into the next year's budget discussions, you know. I understand the budget committee had a meeting a little while ago, so now I'm churning as far as what the budget's going to be like and who the people are on the budget committee and how best to convey what the board's wishes are with the budget to the budget committee, so there's a clear understanding. I think last year there was probably some misunderstandings as far as, you know, what the process was, what the meanings of certain things were, and hopefully we can build off of that this year and get through it in a much smoother, cooperative fashion. So that's about it. Thank you.
So, as Amy has said to us before, this is June. This is Friday of the weekend. Enjoy a little bit of it before you get to Sunday night.
Like on Monday evening, ready for the
Exactly.
like it's already there.
Mm-hmm. A couple things for the school board update. I joined the leadership team to meet with Commissioner of Education Frank Edelblue on Wednesday. I would not say that it was as productive as we would have hoped. The leaders, the principals, did not get to share as much as they were hoping to share about our experience of our trainings and the need for really good strategies to deal with bullying and unkindness in our schools. We did clarify some things that I think were unfair representations of what was happening in our district, so we did get an opportunity to clarify those with him. We did find out also we were doing a lot of things well with transparency in our communication and the family nights that we have scheduled this year. He said, you need to have family nights, and we're like, do you want to look at the calendar of all the family events we've had this year? So anyhow, he did share with us a lot about his role and some of the things that we're looking at with the changes in Washington, D.C., some grant areas that might be at risk and things that might change in regard to how grants are given. And he is fighting for that grant money for the state of New Hampshire. So I will give him credit for that. Also, just a reminder, our goals meeting is set for June 19th. So while our teachers are in professional development, we will be doing our annual goals meeting. So I would ask that everyone review last year's document, which is on the website, and look through the goals that we set for this year, the things that we accomplished, the things that we need to continue to push forward, and any ideas that you want to bring. We have discussed some of those things, but this is a time where we get to really brainstorm and then narrow down those goals. I also want to mention that the Rotary Club is having their annual electronics recycle program this Saturday, and they are looking for high school volunteers. So if you are interested in helping out with the Rotary Club, please contact Wolf Van Schoen, one through social media because he's put it out there, but also through the Rotary Club. As Amy mentioned, there are a number of summer programs. If you have not been contacted yet, please contact your students' building leadership to find out more about summer programs and if your child is eligible or what programs are available. And our seniors, I'm not going to say too much because I'm sure Finn has an update, but senior parents, pay attention. There's a lot happening in the next 2 weeks as graduation is June 14th. If you have not let Sandy know if you are attending, please let her know. We have our parking passes if you've already let her know. And lastly, I just want to encourage everyone in the district, our teachers, our students, our administrators, our staff, let's end this year well. And Finn, I want to challenge you to end your last week well.
Yeah, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I need to go first. I'm over here crossing things off my list. So we can start a little farther back. On Friday, May 30th and Saturday, May 31st, the MHS Theater Club got a chance to put on their production of Cinderella. They do amazing work with the resources they are given. So if you got to see that, I'm a little jealous. On Wednesday, the 21st, National Honor Society got to do their annual Red Sox game. So they go down and see the Red Sox. And it really is a nice kind of team-building activity for those students. We had the Teddy Bear Picnic, which is where high schoolers go to interact with elementary schoolers as part of the National Honor Society. That was on the 23rd of May. We talked a little bit about unified sports. From the Best Buddies group, they got to do a field trip to the Silver Nights, and so that's when students that have more special needs are paired with students who are a little more the typical. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for versus divergent. We had our mock crash on May 28th. Members of the senior class participated in something that the SAD Club, Students Against Destructive Decisions, runs every year, where I think this year they talked about drunk driving. Last year they talked about distracted driving. Yes, okay. And it's always a great event. They have some speakers, and then everybody gets pizza afterwards, and it's a nice kind of send-off at the end of the year to say, hey, make good decisions. Next year, we are going, the Merrimack High School is hosting a trip to Greece. That's going to be over the course of April vacation. If you're interested, talk to Miss Piccolo or Miss DeLeo. This Thursday, MHS will have their annual film festival. It'll be in the Little Theater. A variety of student-made films will be there, so I invite community members, board members, teachers, and students to go. The MHS Outing Club, which is relatively new, got a chance to hike Unkanunik in Goffstown, or Unkanunik. We went over athletics, we went over Banner School. And then the Merrimack Police Department is doing a Your Teen's Bedroom, which I still find is a creepy name, plus Breathe NH vaping presentation on June 10th. So that's for parents, guardians, and caregivers of teenage students to go and learn about how to keep kids safe. And I think that's everything I had.
Comments or questions from the board? I agree. It's kind of a weird name.
I'll make surprise appearances, but...
All right. We'll take that. Okay. Moving on to old business, Jenna and I are going to share a little bit about the Budget Committee. I'll share my part first. I did go to the Budget Committee to share about our budget, but before I did so, the Budget Committee elected Heather Robitaille as chair and Dan Coakley as vice chair. And so they will be serving this year on that committee leadership. They had an hour-long presentation from Attorney Gray on Right to Know and asked quite a few questions about what is required of Right to Know. And when he was finished, I kind of summed it all up by saying, use your SAU email only for communications and stay off social media. Easy as pie. And then I did the presentation on the cuts. There was some discussion about digital versus physical textbooks, and I explained the situation with those textbooks. But everyone seemed to be pleased with the things that we saved. and the things that we had to let go, I did remind them that a number of those items, we're just kicking the can down the road. They're not things that are permanently out of the budget. They are things that we will have to take care of in future budgets. And then I'll let Jenna share her thoughts.
That's it. You just summarized it. That's my committee report, folks. Thank you very much. You did a great job. The only other thing I'll add is there is a Mackenzie Murphy resigned from the budget committee, and so there's now a vacancy. And so anyone, and I think it was on our school district social media. If anybody's interested in putting their name forward for that, they're asking for Publix. And then what happens is you come to a meeting, you interview, and they will appoint a representative, because that's how it works when a vacancy comes up mid-cycle.
And that meeting is July 29th. All right, I want to invite our leadership for a composting and health initiative at Thorntons Ferry Elementary presentation.
Good evening. Is this, the green light's on. Is that working? I'm glad we didn't have to go after the quiz bowl. So thank you for having us. My name is Jackie McMahon, and I am one of the school nurses at Thorntons Ferry.
I'm Chincy Bibb, another nurse at Thorntons Ferry.
And I'm Kate Vyans. I'm the art teacher at Thorntons Ferry.
And we are here tonight to just share a story of kind of some exciting things that have been happening down at Thorntons Ferry, and some new initiatives that we have brought out. I know that you all received a copy of the PowerPoint. It's mostly photos, so we're just going to kind of talk you through our story and where it started and how great it's been and where we hope to go. So as we tell our story through this presentation, you will see the various icons in our slides that represent the Merrimack School District Vision of a Learner. You're going to hear how many aspects of our hydroponic, food recovery, and food diversion programs align and integrate with the district's framework. So this is our story. So where did we start? So if we think all the way back, when I say last year and say 2023, it feels like a lifetime ago, but the 2023-2024 school year, we had just been having conversations about how we can bring more health and wellness and innovative education to students at the elementary level, something a little bit more than just, don't forget to eat apples. As school nurses, we see a lot of students come through our doors who don't feel well, who are hungry, who are not making the right choices. And so how can we kind of get to those kids in a new and unique way? At home, I had been dabbling in some hydroponic gardening, and so we were chatting about that and said, is this something we could do at Thorntons Ferry? Well, it turns out the special project money that each school is given would have been enough for us to purchase a small hydroponic unit. So we applied for the special project grant at our building, and we were able to purchase two, I say small, because when you see our bigger systems, but they're large. They're not a tabletop AeroGarden. They sit in the hallways at Thorntons Ferry, and they are hydroponic gardens. And so that means that you can grow produce, fruits, vegetables, flowers, with no soil and no sunlight. So you can grow year-round in New Hampshire, which is pretty exciting. So for our special project, we purchased the two systems, and we created our own lessons for our third and fourth graders. So we had two systems. One was run by third grade and one was run by fourth grade. They had really cute names that the kids voted on. Vincent Van Gogh, which was really sweet, and Hawks Harvest, because we are the Thorntons Ferry Hawks. And so our third and fourth grade students were able to learn kind of the life cycle of a plant and where their food comes from. They were able to harvest it, and then we had a harvest kind of festival in our lunchroom. And I think Mr. Olson was actually there that day. We were serving lettuce, and we had kind of some flavored lemonade that we put some mint in for the kids, and it was really exciting. It was so well received by our third and fourth grade students, and it was right in the lobby, so all the other grades got to see it and see the progress. And so all we heard was, when is it going to be our turn? When is it going to be our turn to do the gardens? So we kind of were thinking, how can we grow, pun intended, how can we grow this project? We had been talking with our parent-teacher organization, and they had some funding available that had to be used up by the end of the year. It wasn't quite enough, so we did reach out to St. Joseph's Hospital, and in conjunction with our parent group and St. Joe's Hospital, we were able to purchase a large system. And this is what we call the large system, and you can see it in the photograph, the girl holding up her hands like this. Behind her, it kind of looks like a wall of lettuce. So it is kind of like an octagon shape that pulls open, and there's two walls of lettuce that are surrounded by a tower of light. And that's allows us to grow a significantly larger amount of produce and lettuce. So we started that last year in the spring of 2024, right before the end of school. So we were able to kind of figure it out, how it worked. We had one harvest. I think it was the very last week of school. So that's kind of how we ended the school year. So as that was happening, at the same time last spring, the Department of Education had a grant that they were offering as part of their Farm to School program. So we applied for that grant and waited for what seemed like forever. And we received word again, one of the last 2 weeks of school last year, that we were awarded the grant. So it was $6,000, which it tells you how expensive it is to purchase one of these machines. But these machines are really, their purpose is not for the hobby gardener. Their purpose really is for schools or restaurants or care facilities. So they really are kind of a high-level production piece of equipment. So by the time kind of, the grant funding comes through and you get your orders in, we were able to start our second unit this past fall. So when school started this past fall, we had 2 units running in the lunchroom. The exciting thing about that is those units, you can see kind of some better pictures there of it open. The one with the green is all ready to be harvested. The one on the left has all been harvested. We can grow over 50 pounds of lettuce every month. So the lettuce that we're using turns over about, seed to harvest about every 28 days. Now, other vegetables, right, they'll take longer. Lettuce is great because kids can have short attention spans and they like instant gratification, right? So to see the lettuce start little and they'll come back from a long weekend and it's huge and it kind of grows over like a jungle is really exciting. And it feeds a lot when you think about 50 pounds of lettuce. So this grant also allowed us to not only purchase the system and the supplies, but we were also able to bring in a speaker from the company. So if you think back to when we had started last year, we were creating our own lessons and we were teaching kids in the hallway about how to garden. So we were able to have a speaker come in, and he's well-versed. His degree is in plant biology, and taught the kids about hydroponic gardening, where does your food come from, how you can be a farmer, and he did this really great presentation. That's a photo of it. You can see I'm holding a square. That was part of the presentation where there was some hands-on. The kids got to see all of the panels and how the roots grow, and then they were able to participate in harvesting the lettuce that we ate later on that day in the cafeteria. So that presentation that you see there in our all-purpose room was given to grades K through 3. You're going to hear a little bit more later in the presentation about our what we did with our fourth graders, it was a little more involved because they already had that prior year of lettuce in the hallway. So you'll hear a little bit more about that. And then we did also do some individual lessons with our preschool learners. They were able to come, we go into the classrooms with the lettuce for tastings and try-its, and they get stickers. And then also they were able to come and visit the system up close. We did it for L for Lettuce Day. And then we had some really great feedback from kids, really critical thinking. Where does the water go? How does it work? What does a plant need? This is just like sunlight. They asked many great questions, and they wrote really informative reflections. You're going to see throughout our presentation that we have little reflection sheets embedded. So this is a drawing from a first grader about what the hydroponic system looks like. So that yellow in the middle is the tall light. The blue on the bottom is the water that lives in the chambers. And then all those little green dots are all the heads of lettuce.
All right. All right, so throughout the year, we also try to attend various health and wellness webinars online, like maybe in the afternoons when it's a little slower. This past February, we were asked to speak about our hydroponic journey for the New Hampshire Farm to School webinar series. Part of this program they hosted also included a talk about food diversion and food recovery. The speaker who shared about that, which also known as composting, was from an organization called Uplift New Hampshire. So Uplift New Hampshire is a local nonprofit that funds project-based learning initiatives that include food waste diversion and food recovery. They work with local schools, including Pelham, Hollis, and Nashua. Just like us, Uplift New Hampshire believes in empowering and teaching students about the importance of food and how they as individuals can play a role in shaping the outcomes that are better for their community and the whole planet. Since doing lettuce in the lunchroom, we noticed that there's a lot of food waste going on. So we thought, well, food diversion or composting, that's just the natural progression. We have to do it. So we reached out to Uplift New Hampshire to learn more about what they do and how they could help us. In early April, we hosted a school-wide presentation from Uplift New Hampshire and Black Earth, which is the company who collects our food waste. And they came in, and during the presentation, they taught the students about food waste diversion and recovery, and what compost is, how it's made, and how they can have an important role in helping the planet. So the kids played also some engaging hands-on games to learn about this. You can see the pictures there. They were given trays of some food items. They had to decide, is this something I can share? Is this trash? Or is this food waste? They had to kind of figure it out. And they did a really good job and really enjoyed it. All right, so composting is a natural process where organic materials like food scraps and yard waste are decomposed by microorganisms, primarily bacteria and fungi, to create nutrient-rich soil called compost. So you probably know, but compost offers a lot of great benefits. Not only does it reduce waste in our landfill, it minimizes CO2 and methane emissions coming out of the landfills. It helps us to recycle nutrients and enrich the soil. And it also lowers waste disposal costs. In fact, just today, we asked our custodian what he had noticed about, the effect on trash since we started in early April. He said he's noticed approximately a 30% reduction in regular trash ever since we started composting food waste. And we're also stacking the food trays. He also noted that he uses a lot less of the regular trash bags because a lot of the food waste is going into the compost bin. So he's able to fill the regular bags with more trash. As you can see from this graphic, composting is truly full circle sustainability. So every day at lunch, we collect it in special bins. Then it gets put outside in one of those green curbside bins. And then once a week, Black Earth will come and collect it and bring it to their facility and drake it. And I want to say it takes about 6 months, the composting process they use, and then it becomes compost soil that you can buy to grow more fruits and vegetables. And it comes back to our lunchroom. So totally full circle. So right now our composting efforts are fully funded by Uplift New Hampshire, and we're funded through the end of the 25-26 school year. And even our youngest kids, as you can see from this drawing, completely understand what it's all about. All right, so this next photo here on the left shows students in action sorting their trash and food trays during lunch. They start by placing any unopened, prepackaged food items that come off of the lunch line, nothing from home. They place that in like a little share bucket that you're going to hear more about later. Then they move on to trash. They dispose of any trash in a trash barrel, and then they go over to the food waste bin, and that's what you see in the photo they're dumping their trays into. And then at the end, they stack their trays, so that takes up a lot less space in the trash barrels. The far right photo is an example of typical food waste in one of our 2 lunchroom barrels. So that's just, and it's pretty deep. It's hard to tell from that picture, but it's very deep. The students are fast learners. They've done a great job. Rarely do we have to go through and use our little clippers to pick out something that doesn't belong there, but we do keep an eye on it. The lunchroom monitors and our custodians are all on board. They're happy to help. Let's see, according to the USDA, approximately 27 to 53% of food served in school cafeteria is wasted. So that's staggering if you think about the financial, environmental, and just personal impact that has on all of us.
All right, what you're seeing here is a fully student-led initiative. At our school, we are really big on letting students come up with ideas and being like, let's go for it, let's see what happens. So we had a couple students that came to us, the green team, and they really wanted to take the composting to the next level. They're really passionate about wanting to be a part of it, and they're now leading the effort to continue to teach other students how we weigh the food waste, collect, and count the share table items. Since the start of composting in early April, we have diverted over 800 pounds of food waste from the trash. Now, putting that kind of into some other numbers, we found a food waste calculator online. So 800 pounds of food waste turns into 264 pounds of compost and prevents 2,080 pounds of carbon dioxide from being introduced into the atmosphere. In addition to all that, we have recovered over 200 unopened milk cartons and over 50 pounds of fresh carrots and apples, as well as a variety of other unopened prepackaged items, which you'll hear a little bit more about that in a moment. So here we have some examples of students in action, our green team in action. We have 2 kind of leaders, and they are leading their class through. They choose 2 different students each day on weighing the compost. There's definitely some math involved in that. They learned there's addition and subtraction because you have to take away that waste bin weight. So there's some math involved in putting those statistics down. They're also sorting out the food that went onto the share table and counting the number of items that we have there. So you can see there's some really good critical thinking and real world problem solving happening with these students.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about share tables and what is a share table or food recovery. So when we talk about food diversion, that's what can we divert from the trash, right? So that's food that you saw in that lovely photo earlier. So that's the half-eaten chicken nugget or the cheese stick with a nibble, anything that is not in a package, even if you didn't eat the chicken nuggets. We cannot save the chicken nuggets. We'd like to save everything, but we just can't. And the kids are very sweet and adorable, and they will ask about every little thing. What about this? What about that? They're really thinking kind of about their social impact and their environmental impact. So when we talk about food recovery, that's what we can recover. So that's food that is prepackaged, hasn't been opened. So even if you just kind of slit open the carrots because you think you're going to eat them, those can't go in. And the kids are very receptive, and they really understand. As part of the initial presentation from Black Earth and Uplift, we really went through with the game. Could you do this? Can you save this? Can we share that? And then it's reinforced in the lunchroom. And the kids are very trainable, so they've really done a really great job. So packaged food that can be placed on a share table has to be from the hot lunch program. We can't take food from home, even if, your granola bar is totally sealed. So we do have to kind of sort through those sometimes when very well-meaning kids who say, I just don't like this granola bar. We're teaching kids, you've got to put that back in the lunchbox and go home and tell mom that you don't like the oatmeal flavor. So what we're saving is the bagged apples, the bagged carrots, tortilla chips you can see there. There's goldfish, there's Scooby snacks, there's a variety of things, and milk. So what happens with all of those is that, I'm going to tell you first also too, this is probably a good question, that the USDA Food and Nutrition Services actually supports the use of share tables in schools to help reduce food waste and ensure that food is redistributed to those who might need or want it. So it is an initiative from the USDA to help with food waste. They have a few things that they list on their website, and one of them is the use of a share table to help with the food waste that's happening. There are other schools in New Hampshire that are already utilizing share tables in their lunchroom, and some that are doing the composting and the food diversion. Somersworth, Dover, Hollis. We actually had the opportunity to go to Hollis Primary School and see their program in action. They've been doing it for a few years now, so they're kind of a really great model school to look at. And they are doing the share table and the composting as well. So like I said, the share table is only for hot lunch items. So you saw earlier as the kids move through the line, we have a table that they go to and they can look at their tray and then they say, my tummy was too full today. I don't want this bag of apples. So those bag of apples go in the designated bucket that's on the table, and then they move down to trash, or what we call trash, and those are your straw wrappers or your carrot bag or your milk carton. Those go in trash. And then you saw them move along to the food trash, and that's the final step where you dump the rest of your tray items and stack it. The students have also been taught that they eat until their tummies are full, that we're learning to listen to our bodies, and you don't have to finish every last item on your plate. Sometimes kids choose to get what we call doubles, so that's sometimes 2 of everything on their plate, and they just can't finish it. So they understand, yep, today was not the day for me. I'm not going to have 2 bags of carrots, 2 bags of apples, and 2 milks. So if there is an unopened milk, that can be placed in the food share bucket and prevents it from going into the trash. After every lunch, the food from the buckets is sorted and placed in the refrigerator, and that maintains temperature. We're not waiting until the very end of lunch. So when you see our 3rd graders, they're only calculating what was left in the share table for the 3rd grade lunch, because we're still kind of in our infancy as we're doing this. So we're still kind of doing the first 3 lunches. We also don't do it with kindergarten because they eat in their classroom. So right now this is just initiative just for the lunchroom. And then what happens with that food that's in the share bucket that we recover? So students that are in the lunchroom eating, so you have some students that are so full they can't eat anymore, and you have some students that are still hungry. And we have learned that a lot this year. We've been doing some work with New Hampshire Hunger Solutions and just some kind of work at the state level about the problem that is childhood hunger in New Hampshire. And we do have students that are still hungry even after lunch. We have breakfast now, which is really great. So some of these kids are finally having breakfast in the morning. Some of our 3rd graders prior to that weren't really having anything to eat until 1 o'clock for their lunch. So just having a granola bar for a snack just wasn't enough. So we do still see kids who are hungry. Students, if they've already had their lunch, are free to come to the share table and take an additional serving of the fruit or vegetables, so they can have another bag of carrots or a bag of apples. We are not at the point to be offering extra bags of chips. for probably obvious reasons. We're also not allowing them to take any extra milks at this point. I am a parent, and I wouldn't want my kid filling up on milk and not eating the lunch that I sent, but always extra fruits and vegetables, of course. So kids can have extra fruits and vegetables. And then the rest of that food, after we've collected it and sorted it, we use that to supplement the snacks that we provide at school. So we have through the caring cupboard, lots of things like goldfish and granola bars and things, but sometimes it's nice to be able to give a kiddo a cheese stick or a milk or something to go with that, because we do provide lots of snacks for students. We've also been able to donate some of the recovered food to local food pantries. And we have posted up here, there is an act called the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Act. It was actually established in 1996. All of their paperwork has been updated since 2024, so things have been updated since the pandemic. But this Good Samaritan Act allows us to donate recovered food. It protects both the donor and the recipient from liability. And so some local organizations that will take shared food from schools are End 68 Hours of Hunger, the food pantry right here in Merrimack, will also accept it. They were undergoing construction for a few weeks, so they weren't able to, but they're back open for the public. And it's been really inspiring to see the pride that the students have, especially our little members of the Green Team, who are our student leaders, because they know that they're helping the greater community. So it's not a race and it's not a contest to see what grade level can have the most items in the food share bucket. It truly is, they know that if I'm not going to eat something that somebody else could, it's going to help them out. And our little Green Team, when they go back out and they teach the other kids in their class, they let them know someone else can have that milk if you don't want it today. So they really are leaders in our school and helping our community. So now we're going to talk about some other fun things we do in our spare time. So as an extension to our hydroponic gardening and our food waste diversion and recovery, we also engage students through various health and wellness events throughout the year. This is the exciting part. This is where we need Julie's great tomato giveaway voiceover. So some of you might have heard that we have a great tomato giveaway at Thornton's Ferry. And so this also kind of grew organically out of having tomatoes in the hallway. And tomatoes obviously take a lot longer than lettuce to grow, and they're right in the hallway, so kids see them all the time. So last year, I think we started it because kids kept saying, well, who's going to eat those tomatoes, right? There's like 4 cherry tomatoes that they can see, and they watch them turn colors every time they walk by. And we just kind of joked around and said, well, maybe we should give them away. Maybe we should raffle them off. And so we did. So we started just putting student names into the online wheel of names, and it kind of just grew naturally. It helps that when you have someone like Mrs. DeLuca, who is a personality on the intercom, really kind of drums it up, and the kids are so excited, right? Because everybody wants to win something, and to have your name on the loudspeaker is amazing. So it just turned into the Great Tomato Giveaway, and you never know when it's going to happen, because it just happens to be on a day that we've got 12 tomatoes that are ripe and have to be picked. So kids are so excited. We've had such positive feedback. We've had students who bring their little tomato, and they're just little cherry tomatoes. They go in their lunchbox and they can't wait to bring them home to show their parents. We've had kids that have never tried a tomato, but they will try a tomato because they won. They want to bring it back to their class. It's a really exciting event, and you never know. So the next time you're at Thornton's Ferry, maybe your name will be drawn.
All right, so another health and wellness initiative we've started is called a Try It Day. We've been doing this probably for the last couple years, pretty much when we started doing the lettuce. And this is where students can taste foods that they may not otherwise try at home. A lot of times kids are more willing to try things when they're away from home and, it's not mom and dad telling them try this. So the students absolutely love Try It Days. They'll often walk by our office and say, "Are we having a Try It Day today?" Or they see that we have our aprons on. They're not sure if it's a lettuce day or if it's a Try It Day. They're just trying to figure it out. So they're always eager to try something new. And we've actually had several parents call or stop in and tell us that their kids are now willing to try new foods at home because of these Try It Days. So we think that's pretty awesome. Oh, hang on. All right, so this was one of our Try It Days. Here it's another student-led initiative. As you can see, this is our Garden Girls. They are a group of students who grew a bunch of basil in the 2 flex farms. Those are the bigger units. It took a little while, so they'd grow basil, cut it, freeze it, and when we had enough, they made pesto right there at school. We brought some blenders in, and they made it all by themselves. They made posters and art to advertise their pesto Try It Days so that there was a lot of excitement in the school before this day. And then every child and every student got to try pesto one day. And they got to vote on whether they liked it, loved it. And then we don't have a don't like it, we have a maybe next time, right? Because we don't want to, what do we say? We don't want to
yuck someone else's yum.
That's right. That's what it is. Okay. So actually, lettuce in the lunchroom started as a Try It Day, and this is just kind of how it all evolved. But now they expect lettuce in the lunchroom. That's not a Try It Day. They expect it regularly. So our goal is to provide lettuce every couple weeks to every student once we get on the right rotation. As you can see from this reflection on the bottom, Marcus in 4th grade shared that growing lettuce in the lunchroom is one of his favorite things to do because knowing that he helped grow it makes him feel good about himself. And it makes us feel good that he feels that way. All right, let's see. Here are photos from our Great Apple Crunch. This was last October. The Great Apple Crunch is a statewide event held every year in October that encourages students to try locally grown apples. So we made some phone calls, and we were fortunate enough that Courier Orchards in Merrimack agreed to donate fresh apples for every single student. So at the end of each lunch, every student had their own apple, and on the count of 3, everyone crunched at the same time to celebrate the Great Apple Crunch. So that was a great success. Ryan in 3rd grade said, "My favorite was the Try It Days because I liked some stuff that I didn't know that I liked."
So now we're going to look at a few extended learning opportunities. Jackie had mentioned earlier about that we had done something a little bit longer with our 4th graders. Starting with every year we have an artist in residence at our school. This year we had Caroline Conrad, who came to us and did clay pottery. So we did one little pinch pot kids could bring home immediately, and then we did a pot for planting seeds. So students learned how to make their clay pots, and then couple weeks later, the students got to meet with our 2 nurses about lessons on hydroponics versus soil growing. So they got to see both of those things in action. You can see a couple different photos up here. Starting on the left, we have a student that she's getting her soil for her pot. Then we have a couple of the pots that already had seeds in them. We have a bank of seeds that were donated, so kids could choose the different kinds of seeds. We had a lot of watermelons growing in our little cup-sized pots. Hopefully everybody's transplanting those at home. And then you can see the next photo that kids are doing a little prep work for, what are these called?
That's called rock wool. That's the medium that they grow in the hydroponic system, so no dirt.
So they're learning both about how to grow with the hydroponics and with the soil. And then you can see all the way over on the left a harvest of lettuce that some of the kids took off of our wall. So through this, students are learning how to care for living things, which fosters cooperation, communication, and problem solving. Here we have one of the 4th grade classes with their completed pots, as well as you can see it's a pretty generous tub of lettuce that they harvested, and that was later served in the lunchroom. The little note reflection over there reads, "I liked the hydroponic gardening the best because I liked being able to plant in a pot for the first time. It was also fun to be able to observe the plants in the hydroponic garden." Many kids remarked that this was their first time ever getting to plant something. So now we're going to delve kind of in how we brought this to our greater Thorntons Ferry community. A couple weeks ago, well, yeah, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, it feels really soon, we had our annual family art night. And of course, as the art teacher, I am all about showcasing the art, but I'm like to also think about all kinds of arts, and health and wellness is certainly in that field. And so in our APR, we had a big setup of where families could see the hydroponic gardens. We had displays on how the hydroponic gardening worked. We had displays on composting. You have the composting bins too. We were serving lettuce, and then all of the plants that the fourth graders had grown were there too. Students were very excited about having their grown-ups try the lettuce, so much so. Go back for just a second. That's okay. It might be a little hard to see in the photo, but the big blue sign up there reads The Lettuce Show. So that was made by one of our fourth graders. So kids were very excited about showing off the lettuce to families. Parents and families together really enjoyed the opportunity to see how the lettuce was growing, taste it along with their children. There was a lot of family curiosity about how to grow things hydroponically. Jackie and Cynthia over and over explained the hydroponics. I think there was a lot of kids there that were really like hoping they're going to get one of these at home themselves. We were passing out lettuce like faster than we could fill the little buckets. People were coming back again and again because our lettuce is like amazing tasting. It is way better than anything you will ever get in the grocery store, and the kids know that too. So we have a lot of hands-on learning happening in all of this. Again, in these photos, you can see on the left where we had a student that made signs to advertise, try this lettuce with your family. Our students are really engaged with our community, and this was done in art class, but it wasn't prompted by me. It was a kid coming up to me saying, "Hey, do we have a sign so people know that this is what we can do?" I'm like, "No, you go make that sign." And then in the next two slides, you can see everything being served. And last year, you can see some of our fourth graders' pots on display. They'd been growing about a month at that point, Kids had been watering them in their classroom. They'd been carefully carrying them down to the nurse's office for little haircuts because, sometimes when you plant one seed, it's like 20 seeds that go in, and you can't really have 20 seeds growing in a little cup. So the kids were just so responsible about caring for these living items. And that night when they were all on display, it was really the first time other grades got to see them. And the number of kids that were like, "Miss Mayans, when are we making our pots? When are we going to get to plant?" So I think this is going to become a great new fourth grade tradition, hopefully, of planting seeds.
I almost made it through. All right. So this is Rosie. We have a little video to show you. Hopefully it works. So Rosie, like we said, was one of the founding members of the Green Team. That was a name that they came up with on their own. That this little group came to us right after we had the composting presentation in the gym, and she came right up with a poster that she had made and said, "I want to do more. I want to help. What can we do?" So the Green Team, including the name, was all on her own. So that's why she's wearing her little vest, because that's how you know she's a member of the Green Team. And she has a little video to share.
Hi, I'm Rosie, and I'm in 3rd grade at Thorntons Ferry School. I started the...
I paused it, sorry.
green team where we compost, and we help kids learn how to compost after third grade eats lunch. While we do composting and we weigh the compost, that compost goes into the soil, and the soil that they're making reduces climate change, and it's better for the environment. We also have a share table where unopened foods like a bag of apples or a carton of milk, kids can put those in that bucket, and we donate all that food to families in need.
So thank you, Rosie. That's actually outside in front of our outdoor tomatoes. They are actually probably taller than she is. Those were tomatoes that were started indoors. They got too large for the hydroponic system, so the garden girls planted them outside. I've been told that the birds really like them, so the birds are involved in the Great Tomato Giveaway. So as you have seen through our presentation, the students' excitement, involvement, and curiosity meets and exceeds the attributes of our district's vision of a learner. So where do we go from here? Our plan at Thornton's Ferry is to continue going forward with our current programs. Like Kate said, we would love clay pots to be a tradition for our fourth graders. So many students came by thinking like, well, can I just take one of these pots? We had families thinking that they were parting gifts, and that they were giveaways, and that we were giving plants away. So I think that would be a great goal for us. At this time, our programs are zero cost through the 25-26 school year, in conjunction with the outside funding as well as the grant from the New Hampshire Department of Education. In future years, we are prepared to continue to seek outside funding sources, as we know some aspects of the program will have some financial cost. We plan to pursue more interdisciplinary options, such as our Artist in Residence collaboration, while also integrating learning and making connections to our mystery science and wit and wisdom curriculums.
It's also important to note that different parts of what we're doing can be replicated in any of the schools in our district, and we're always happy to share our knowledge. Everything we have presented is encompassed in the district's strategic and health and wellness goals. The authentic, real-world learning that students are experiencing speaks directly to Focus Area 4's 3 strategic initiatives, including students leading by example, students seeing the relevance of their education in real-world context, and incorporating hands-on multimodal learning opportunities. These health and wellness initiatives go beyond just growing plants. We're fostering a strong sense of connection between classroom learning and the world beyond, and we're cultivating skills of healthy habits and deeper connections to the world around them as we prepare students for future learning and responsible citizenship. On behalf of Thornton's Ferry, we want to thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions and comments from the board?
I disagree. I think that this is something that can be replicated statewide, nationally. You said this can be replicated at other schools at the district. This is one of the most astounding presentations that I've ever seen in my life, and you all should give yourselves a pat on the back. Both in areas of compost, areas of growing your own food at the school, having a share table. These are all things that we've had conversations about at the high school. I have no words at how incredibly happy I am that we're starting this at an elementary school level and that you folks were able to do this in just 2 or 3 years. This really makes me so incredibly excited. A lot of the work that I do outside the high school is involved with sustainability nonprofits and environmental nonprofits throughout the state. And so to be able to, I always felt that an area that we fell short on the district, and specifically an area that I fell short on the district, was pushing for sustainable change. And to see how much progress that you all have made in 2 and 3 years, and as somebody who's tried to make change at the district and who's heard, that's great, but, and the fact that you all were able to move past that, but, genuinely, I am so incredibly proud to be a part of this district and to watch what you guys have been able to do. So thank you.
So I
Jenna.
just want to echo what Finn said. I'm blown away. I didn't come tonight to prepare and walk away with my, I was getting choked up. I'm like, what is wrong with me? This just makes my heart really happy. I'm also proud of you. And I have it's just so cool. It's so cool. I'm only irritated that I didn't get some lettuce out of this deal. Not gonna lie. I thought this should have come with salad, but whatever.
Naomi.
So great. Sorry.
Ditto. And also I have tried the lettuce. You all know I have a kid who goes to Thornton's Ferry, and we were there for the art show, and she's in the chorus, and we walked around and we looked at the art, and then we did the chorus performance, and I was overstimulated and ready to get out of there, and she's like, Mom, we have to go eat lettuce. I love lettuce. And I went, I don't think I've ever seen you eat lettuce in my life. So you can pat yourselves on the back for that. Seriously. My kid was like, I love lettuce. And I was blown away. And it was really good lettuce. The other thing is, I drive a bus for Thornton's Ferry, and on tomato giveaway days, I've had bus kids come on cradling their tomato. I'm going to bring this home and show this to my mom. So they're not exaggerating when they're saying how involved the kids are in this and how it's such a great community thing. So, and actually the other thing I wrote down to mention is I feel like we talked about share tables or something similar in a board meeting in the last couple of years as can we do this for a number of good reasons? And the fact that you've gone and done it I'm really happy about that too. So thank you. This was great.
Lori.
Just really quickly, I was going to say, we talk about Thornton's Ferry sometimes, and we know we have some kiddos there that, probably come to school hungry and probably leave school hungry. And so that you're able to find out a way to support those students in a way that's not an embarrassment, it's just the way to do it is commendable, and we all appreciate that. And yes, we've had these conversations.
And as someone who has a big garden, and my grandfather taught me how to do organic gardening before organic gardening was a thing. And I've taken those skills with me. And of course, I compost like crazy in my garden. And I also give a lot to my chickens too, so things don't go to waste. I love this. I love seeing students learning how to be good stewards of the earth, good stewards of their bodies, and learn how, when they grow up, how they can grow their own food and everything like that. Just something that crossed my mind. One of the things that I do with my own garden, and I know this is a little difficult with lettuce, but is food preservation. So I can and freeze a lot of what's in my garden so that I get that yummy, fresh summer flavors in January when, grocery store food is And so I was wondering if you had thought about down the road maybe adding that on to what they learn and how to preserve it may not be with the lettuce, but just part of that education piece about ways to preserve tomatoes and things like that, just as part of their learning.
Yeah, sure, I can speak to that. We would love to do it. We joke all the time about how we have to slow each other down. We're like, and we could do this, and we could do that. Why aren't we making pizza sauce? We have outdoor garden beds at Thornton's Ferry that actually our Girl Scout troop fixed up last year. So we would love to, start some outdoor gardening as well, and we can get our compost now. So I think yes to thinking about how do we preserve food. The students did freeze basil. They learned that we have to pick it and we freeze it in olive oil because we didn't have enough. So we kept picking and freezing and then filled the freezer, and then we had enough. One of the really unique things about the Flex Farm unit, so that's the really giant clamshell one that opens, that program actually comes with a full K-12 curriculum that aligns with science standards. So we have been able to kind of pull little tidbits of that. And as part of our purchase of the system, we have full access to that in perpetuity. So there's all sorts of hands-on learning activities for where does your food come from, what can you do with your food. There's little badges that the kids can earn for different things. So, thinking down the line, how can we really integrate kind of all stages of, growing your food, and then where does it go and how do you preserve it? Especially, like you said, being in New England, that's kind of the benefit of hydroponic gardening, is that you're trying this fresh food in the winter. So I think we would love to be able to do that down the road, and thinking about all sorts of add-on extensions. Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, for everything that you've done. Going back to my days at Thornton's, I mean, Julie and I have had many conversations about processed foods and fresh foods, and I love that you guys were able to make this work. And like Finn said, just kind of get past that barrier and do it. So you have third and fourth graders, fourth graders will definitely be moving on. I know that there's a big gardening presence at the upper elementary. That would be awesome if you could share resources and how to do it, and then thinking ahead of how to, get it to the middle school and high school as well, because in the other elementaries too, right? So if we keep it at all levels, because I think it is so important for these young kids to learn this and then just not have it abruptly stop. So they'll definitely take lessons away from it, but I think it would just be amazing to keep it growing, and hearing that it's a K through 12 curriculum, that's awesome too. So I love it. I love that you have kids trying fresh stuff and that they're willing to try it. So kudos to you guys. Thank you.
Jenna.
Sorry, I just want to echo what she said, and really what Finn said. I would love to see this expanded too. Like, I mean, the fact that, I feel like high school students could easily
100%,
be doing this, and
We've had share table conversations recently. Being able to keep that compostability standards up, and I'm like running through my head about grant partners right now in terms of expanding this to different schools. And so, what I really do want to say to all levels of leadership in this district is, when you hear those ideas, get rid of the but. Say, yes, that's awesome, let's do it, right? And you're going to have some things that fail, but allowing that to move on. And you guys did that with the students, right? You guys did that with the green team. They came up and you said, yeah, let's try it, right? With the student that wanted to make the sign, perfect, let's make the sign, right? And so when you get to try these things that they really don't cost a whole ton in the grand scheme of things, but they yield such incredible results. So I want to stay. I want to see what you guys are doing.
Well, yes. Sounds like you're going to have some volunteer time on your hands there, Finn. So come on in.
I think we're really lucky that we do have an administration that fully supports us in being like, yes, just say yes and see what happens. So when you have that behind you, like, you can't not say yes. But speaking about high school, Finn, one of our, what we've been talking about next year is how to get some high school kids over to Thornton's Ferry and get them interacting with the kids and, helping us with these endeavors.
So that was going to be my comment, but I can see the potential for ELOs. And students that are interested in this to be doing an ELO and learning from you, and then helping, maybe carry it to other, I don't know. I just see it going in a million different directions.
Well, just so you know, we as a leadership team do speak, and Reed's Ferry and JMUs have applied for the farm to school grant. Awesome. So they're very much interested in that. The great thing about grants is it helps us try something at one school, and then it can spark, as we're seeing right now, the interest across the district. So hopefully they will also receive the grant, but they're very interested. The other schools are very interested.
How cool would it be if we became a district where we were doing this in every school?
It'd be leading.
We would be a leading district
Yeah.
in the state, and I think it would set us apart, and I think that's amazing. And I am not kidding. I am totally going to my administration in my building tomorrow, and I have a black thumb, so I can't hydroponically garden, I'm sure, because I've killed every plant I've ever encountered, and you underestimate my ability to kill living things that aren't human beings.
Yeah, the share table costs no money, so it's a great place to start. Then it can evolve into composting. We can, connect you with the gentleman from Uplift New Hampshire, There
That's
is
exactly
funding,
what I'm
so
thinking.
we have
I
a
can
lot of
bring.
connections that we can help with and share the knowledge that we've learned.
I mean, that's something that I can do. I'm at lunch and recess every single day. I can be helping to maybe bring a portion of this. So I learned something tonight. Like, this was really exemplary, and I am so impressed, and you should all be so proud of yourselves. Really. I think it's very exciting.
May I just make one comment?
Yes.
You know, this is a night of champions, and we've had a lot of champions here. And I'll tell you, between Julie and Jackie and Chintzia and Kate, you are true champions, not only of children, but the environment. And if we were to read your job descriptions, none of this would be in there. And so what you have brought to this school district is extraordinary pride, you know, which is that voice inside which says, do something more, do something better, give children a little bit different experience, a more enhancing experience. And I'll tell you, you have done just a superb job. And we talk so much about budgets. You know, I hope there are a number of residents who are watching this meeting tonight to take a look at the accomplishments of students and to take a look at the accomplishments of staff, because you have done a superb job.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and your wonderful presentation, and more importantly, the amazing work you're doing at TFS. After that wonderful presentation, is there any other new business from the board? Lori.
I just want to note that if we're going to be inviting the Budget Committee and the School Planning and Building Committee to the 4th of July Parade, we probably should send out an invitation to that. And Finn, we hope you're going to be on our float this year. Star of the show. All your friends will be there. They'll be so impressed.
All right, approval of the May 5th, 2025 non-public minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to accept.
Moved by Rachel.
Second.
Second by Naomi. Any discussion? All those in favor? 500. Do I have a motion for the May 12th, 2025 non-public minutes?
Make a motion for the May 12th, 2025 non-public minutes.
Moved by Lori.
I'll second.
Second by Jenna. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Oh, sorry.
500. And do you have a motion for the May 12th, 2025 public and non-public minutes?
I move that we approve the May 19th
19th.
public and non-public minutes.
Do you have a second? Moved by Naomi, seconded by Rachel. Any discussion? Yes, Rachel.
I do just have a question on the public minutes for that date. Are we going to attach, I know that the strategic planning notes were a part of the packet and are already on the website, but just for ease of purpose, can we attach those as well since they're referenced quite a bit?
So we don't do that because the minutes are a legal document that are constructed for under RSA.
Got it.
That's why we include them in the board packet and put them on the email.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll call the question. All those in favor of accepting those minutes? 500. Consent agenda. Amy.
There are a collection of resignations and nominations in your packet tonight. We'll start with teacher resignations or retirements. Jennifer Gonzalez, science teacher at Merrimack High School. Ashley Ciccardi, classroom teacher, 1-year leave of absence. Emily Ingham, special education teacher, 1-year leave of absence. Catherine Eckmeyer, special education teacher, retirement from Reeds Ferry School. And Louis Mayu, classroom teacher, retirement from JMU's. We also have administrator resignations, Sarah Reinhardt, Director of Special Education, and Bridget Perry, Assistant Director of Special Education.
Do I have a motion to accept the resignations and retirements?
I make a motion to accept the resignations and retirements for June 2nd, 2025.
Second.
Moved by Lori, seconded by Jenna. Any discussion? All those in favor? 500.
And then there are some nominations. Madison Johansson, classroom teacher for James Mastercola Upper Elementary School, and Benjamin Moyer, science teacher at Merrimack High School. And then Kathleen Sholin, who's here tonight, new interim assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction and assessment.
Do I have a motion to accept?
I make a motion that we accept the teacher and administrator nominations.
Second.
Moved by Jenna, second by Naomi. All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
500. Committee reports.
I went to a budget committee meeting, but we've already covered the budget committee report.
Naomi.
I went to a Parks and Rec committee meeting on Wednesday, May 21st. They talked a lot about the summer programming that they have. The one thing that came up that I thought would be most of interest to folks who might be following school board meetings is that their after-school program for the coming year, which currently only accepts students from Thorntons Ferry and MES, is now going to be open to all 4 elementary schools, so the 3 lower elementary schools and JMUs, if parents are looking for an after-school program option. That they do that at Wasserman Park in the function hall, and they use the facilities there. I also went to the Thorntons Ferry Art Night, and I really enjoy that event because they set it up like a museum, like an art show, and they've got the student artwork on the wall, and sometimes it's grouped by theme, and they've got little credit things on there, and so you can go around and you can see, and it's very creative. They provide guidelines, but I used to go to art shows when my son was in elementary school, and it would be 30 of the same thing, and this very much is explorations of what they can do, and it's very it's very broadening to me. It's like they can really explore and they can create, and I love that. The 3rd grade and 4th grade choruses performed. The Recorder Club performed Eye of the Tiger on recorder, and we all got to try lettuce, and it was a really great event.
So I'm on the Joint Loss Management Committee, and we didn't have a committee meeting, but I went with our HR Director, Melissa Faslick, and our Director of Facilities, Tom Tussaud, to inspect the Merrimack High School. This is an unannounced inspection, so they did not know that we would be coming. And I want to just share a couple of my observations. First of all, it is immaculately clean, always. And it is just quite astonishing to me to see a building so large with not a single piece of paper in the hallway, not a single shredded toilet paper on the floor in the bathroom, or paper towels, or overflowing trash cans, or anything like that. The building is exceptionally clean. I also want to commend our principal, Steve Clare, that there were teachers who were using their duty as being in the hall, monitoring traffic, monitoring where students were going, monitoring outside the bathrooms, those kinds of things. Melissa and I walked through all the female bathrooms, and Tom walked through the male bathrooms, and just to, we were looking at, were any water on the floor, those kinds of things. But there were hardly any students in any of them during the over an hour we were there. There was nothing nefarious going on in the bathrooms, which I think is important. Tom did share that in the past they have had issues with vaping materials being flushed into the toilets and stopping up the toilets, but in the last 2 months that has dramatically reduced. And I would be interested to know from Principal Clare if something changed in their monitoring practices to create that difference. But it's just a real testimony to our leadership and our faculty and staff and students, and especially our custodian teams, that building, as sections of it are very old, and I went into the boiler rooms and all those areas, that it is exceptionally maintained. And it is very clean, and I was just very impressed with how well they do to maintain that building. And by the way, they passed the inspection. Right, correspondence. I had a number of correspondence. Several of you were CC'd on them, and they included a parent concern, a personnel concern, a transportation and summer concern, and a legal matter that we will be taking up with the attorney later this month. Jenna.
I had one parent reach out to me actually to thank us for keeping the provision for the B team at the middle school soccer. Actually, I had electronic correspondence, but I've also had more than one person personally thank me, like when I bumped into them. And I think that speaks to, I think, the impact that will make. A small thing we kept that I think will make a big impact.
All right, comments from the board. Lori.
So first of all, I want to thank all of our teams and groups that came tonight. And for our seniors who are going to be graduating, I guess my advice would be to, when you go to college, it's all about building friendships and building relationships, getting connected, being involved. My sister Bridget just flew home this weekend. She went to her 40th reunion at Boston College, and there were 6 girls that lived together. They are still friends 40 years later. And so as much as she got out of going to Boston College and the learning, it was all about those relationships. So build those relationships. They're really important.
You know, it's funny you said that, and now we're on a tangent, but I'm going with it. Today in the mail, my son, who's graduating, got 2 cards, and he opened them and he said, "These are graduation gifts, but I don't know who these people are." And I said, "Give me the cards." Both my college roommates. So it speaks to what you're talking about. He doesn't even know them, but they sent him a graduation gift because, I mean, that's what happens. You make the friends
forever.
Yes.
And I would just like to welcome Kathleen. As people in the district know, we are losing Amy Doyle, which has had a profound impact on our district. And we are excited to bring Kathleen on board this next year. And I appreciate our committee and the work that they did through that process. And that committee was made up of a wide range of stakeholders, from parents, teachers, administrators, board members, support staff. It was a very large committee who gave their time to all the interviews that we did. And I love that we can come together and move forward as a district. Also, I went to a graduation this past weekend, and I'm looking forward to Merrimack's graduation. And I just want to say, I never get tired of seeing the next generation really step into their future and step in with hope and excitement and really willing to make change and be change makers. And so, Finn, I want to add that to you once again. Go out and be a change maker.
I appreciate that. So end strong, be a change maker. I'll do my best.
And come to the 4th of July parade.
And be the star of the show on the 4th of July
Yes,
parade.
absolutely,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
Do I have to bring my own Star Spangled Banner outfit, or is one provided for me?
All right, at this time, I'm going to open up the floor for public comments on agenda items only. This is a time when we allow the public to share with us on agenda items their thoughts. If you choose to step forward, please state your name and address. And if you are a student, you never have to state your address. It gets very quiet the closer we get to summer. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Naomi, seconded by Rachel. All those in favor? 500. Thank you and good night.